The Fantasy Couriers are proud to be sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best and easiest place to play fantasy sports. There are games for everyone and in many sports. But right now, it's best ball season. You can draft all year long. The season never ends. You can participate in a slow draft with an 8-hour clock or a fast draft with a 2-minute clock. Stay tuned for some exclusive Fantasy Couriers best ball games during the off season.
Yeah, so currently the biggest football game in town is Best Ball Mania 4. For those that don't know, Best Ball Mania 4 is a big best ball fantasy football tournament for the year. Last year, number 3 was the biggest tournament of all time with 500,000 entrants. That's a lot of that's a big fantasy pool right there. Prize pool of $10 million. That's a lot of money. So Best Ball Mania 4 will be with total prize of $15 million.
So sign up now for Underdog with the fantasy code Couriers, and they will double your first deposit up to $100 cash. In case you missed that, when you make your first deposit of $10 or more, I didn't mention that before, but $10 or more, up to $100, you get $100 in free credit. Plus, I'll throw in a Fantasy Courier sticker. You sign up, I will email you Fantasy Courier swag. Oh, we got stickers now. Working on some t-shirts. You email me, I'll mail it to you. People that joined before, join one of these contests, and I'll send you a sticker as well.
$100 and a free sticker. Can't go wrong. So join Underdog today, and don't forget to use the code Couriers. A link is in the notes of the podcast. Now, on to the podcast. What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. And with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Oh, holy cow. It is the end of May. Will September ever come? It seems like real football is never going to get here. But this is the fun time of year, too. No one knows what's going on, but we all sort of pretend like we're just talking about guys. It just allows us to talk, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, you've got the rookie draft still going on. I mean, they'll probably be going on heavy for like another week or so, and then they'll kind of tail off. Even though we're in a league that's probably not going to draft until probably the week before the season starts. So it'd be something different. So you're not maybe a rookie gets hurt in mini camp or training camp, and you won't be able to you won't draft him as high as maybe.
That means you'll get a bargain though. A rookie gets hurt.
Yeah, maybe
it's dynasty.
He might fall in the draft, so it'd be a different aspect of the game. But yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot of stories, a lot of stuff coming out.
I'm in a rookie draft right now. It's an untimed clock. Oh my gosh, one pick took a day.
I've even ever since we started with the 8-hour like the auction rookie draft we do, I tend to think people just don't that they do it on purpose. It's not like, hey, I'm not around anything, because it's like it's all done on your phone. Nobody really uses a computer for it. So people like that, I think they do it on purpose, and it's kind of annoying and frustrating.
Yeah, and part of it too is in this league, and I think they're changing it. I'm struggling recently with thinking about commissioner accepting trades. Like, I think that's something that needs to be getting rid of in most leagues if you know the people in the leagues. If there's going to be collusion, it's going to end the league anyway. But what's holding it up is some trades have went through, and the commissioner is just not there and hasn't processed the trade, so it's dragging it on some. But it's going through there. Excuse me. But yeah, so we're on pick 11. We started Friday, and we're recording this Sunday night about 4:30. So it's been a long time. I don't pick till the third round, so I'm going bonkers. But then again, when you have a receiving core that's A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, and Justin Jefferson, and then your quarterback is Josh Allen, you probably aren't picking because you traded away all your draft picks. So one other thing before we jump into JJ Wang's 21, as he promises 21 questions about the NFC this week. I'm going to keep a lookout on the website. We're going to do some underdog drafts just for fun, because it's fun to draft. I just finished up a couple. I'm in the middle of a DraftKings one that's going on forever. I just did my $25 underdog one, and maybe I'll talk about my draft at some point. It was kind of hit or miss, but it's just fun to draft on the offseason. As with the Fantasy Couriers stuff, where it's going to be a $3 draft. Nothing big, nothing pricey. We're not going to do any $2,000 drafts, so jump in there if if you haven't done Underdog before, jump on in. You can support us. We're going to use it to get us. We do this for $0. We've made $0. I think we're finally like just below the red, maybe. So we get a little Underdog throws us a bone if we get you guys to join in. So jump in with us, have a little fun. Last year, guys enjoyed it. We talked draft, and if you want to talk smack to us, maybe we'll even have you come chat with us on the podcast. It's been fun having guests as we go. But I have one question for you before your 21 questions. Where a buddy and I were talking, and I think we're the weirdos, and I mentioned it more and more, but it's really affecting my drafting positions. Why am I so low on Anthony Richardson?
I mean, how low are you?
I don't know. He scares the tar out of me.
Well, I mean, he should scare the tar out of you. I mean, because at this point, everything you hear coming out of football camps are a lie. I mean, they're all up there playing against other guys that have never been in the NFL. So, of course, if they don't look good, you've got problems. So everybody looks good, so everybody's going to be high on players. I mean, I don't think your attitude should change much. I mean, you should be scared.
Yeah, I'm just struggling to think about a guy that's had two good college games. Like everybody in the NFL is a stellar athlete, and that's what they're saying. He was the combine stellar athlete, sure, but that doesn't make sense to me.
No, I mean because he was the athlete, the same athlete going into the combine that we thought was going to come out of the combine. Going into the combine, we thought he was going to be a ridiculous athlete,
Yeah,
and that's what happened. So what changed? That I mean, your attitude toward him should change. But now that he's the fourth overall pick, going to a relatively decent team that's got playmakers, I mean, we'll see. I mean, that happens all the time. These guys bust all the time. Going back to that draft a few years ago with the four quarterbacks in like top 12. I mean, Trevor Lawrence has been okay, nothing special. Justin Fields is just now seeing that he can maybe do something. Wilson's a bust. Trey Lance hasn't even played. So three of these guys are going to not be good.
I mean, statistically, and if y'all get a chance, check out my video this week. I did Will Levis coffee. I don't know if you saw it yet. It was
Nope.
disgusting. It
I'm
tasted
sure it
like
was.
hot mayonnaise. It tastes like hot mayonnaise. But
It
now
tastes
on
like a
to
hot mess.
it was great. My stomach hurt all afternoon. I was like, I
I'm
can't
sure.
finish this. It was like, bleh. But now on to JJ Wang's 21 questions. This week we might even get to 21 questions. What do you
Yeah, I
think?
got I got 21 questions. I got 21 guys here. I asked 21 questions on all of them. I'll go a little faster. I'm going to make sure I get through all of them. We'll start with the NFC East. We'll start with America's team, the greatest team in the history of the world. We'll start with the Dallas Cowboys. So, I mean, there's CeeDee Lamb, but my question is Tony Pollard. There's not really a backup. He's the man. He was pretty much an RB1 last year. So, with no Zeke, where are you putting Tony Pollard?
Well, you told me to have up my rankings, so let's take a look. And so they're dynasty rankings I'm looking at right now. I think Tony Pollard could have a decent year. He's got to, right? They paid the man. So Tony Pollard currently is my RB10 dynasty wise because I don't know. There's something that feels off about Tony Pollard. Like I think he's going to have a great year, and he could move up and down. But I have him like behind Ramondre, Najee, ETN's the one with him that they could almost be interchangeable depending upon what they do with Tank. If Tank ends up stealing some touchdowns from ETN, which I'm not sure about, but I think RB10 is a fair. So I got him above like Gibbs, who I think will catch a gajillion balls. But on the Dallas defense, I mean, who are we talking about? Malik Davis or Deuce Vaughn? I mean, Deuce Vaughn is me with muscles in the backfield. So could he eat in? I don't think so. I mean, the only thing that would change my thought is if they decide, and I've heard two rumblings. One rumbling is that Zeke just signs back for peanuts because he's like, nobody wants me. I might as well go where home is, play with my boy Dak for a little bit, and then Zeke becomes that vulture, and that'll hurt. I'd move him down for that. Or I've seen some Dallas articles saying when they drop Dalvin Cook out of Minnesota, snag him up. Dalvin Cook goes to Dallas. Tony Pollard, he'll probably slip to 20s. He'd be probably 20 and Dalvin Cook would be 21 because those two in the back, that would be NFL awesome. That could vault the Cowboys up to a contender and kill Tony Pollard's standalone PPR base. I mean, I could move Tony Pollard up more. It just depends upon if you trust the Patriots or if you trust the Jaguars, or I got Najee Harris because he's the guy, he's a 3 down back right there with him. So he's 10 right now for me dynasty.
Right. RB10, I can see that. I can see a world where that's definitely a real possibility. Moving to the Eagles, probably the best team in the NFC.
Mhm.
Devonta Smith somehow finished as like wide receiver 12, wide receiver 11 last year. I did not see it. So Devonta Smith over or under wide receiver 11 in your rankings,
Over or under wide
or
receiver?
maybe yeah.
Oh, you want a hot take? 9.
Ooh, I like to hear that. All right, I like that.
9. They're gonna pass, and then they're gonna pass, and then they're gonna pass some more. What did they do? They signed a passing running back. Their other running back is a passing running back. Who's gonna pound the ball from the backfield? Boston Scott. So they got Gainwell. He'll get some touches. They got Swift out of the back. So they're not going to pound the ball. They've decided they are going to be an air it out team. So if they're going to air it out, their two best pass catchers. I have A.J. Brown at 4. And you know me, I've never been an A.J. Brown guy. But I'm falling in love with A.J. Brown. I just traded, what was it, a first round pick, Michael Thomas, and others, a bunch of pieces to get A.J. Brown in a league. But I got Smith at 9. The two of those guys could easily do what Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. They could be comparable to Tyreek and Jalen Waddle.
So where is Dallas Goddard as your tight end?
Let me push my button here. Goddard, I probably have fairly high too. Let's see. Dallas Goddard is my number 5, but these are dynasty. I haven't done a regular season yet, so he's
So
5.
they got two. So they got two top 10 receivers and a top 5 tight end. That team is. That
Oh,
team's
I mean, who else?
legit.
Will they look at the team though?
Oh
The
yeah,
running backs
yeah.
will get 500 yards catching. I mean, let's say that Hurts throws for 4,500 yards, which is totally possible. He runs for another 500. Hurts could end up being a QB, the number 1 QB.
Oh, absolutely. He could definitely end up
Yeah.
if he's running for all the yards.
But I mean, I see Smith being, he's going to get his points more on catches.
Okay.
Because, yeah.
That's good news. I like to hear that. All right, moving over to the Washington Commanders. Been a lot of hype this week. Listen to the radio that Antonio Gibson will be getting more carries. So, are you buying the hype on Antonio Gibson being a bigger part of this Washington offense?
Is it sad that the answer is I don't know. We fell for this last year, didn't we?
I don't know.
Didn't we?
I've been following for it since he's been in the league. So.
I think well we've always supported him, but we fell for this trick last year that he was going to be Christian McCaffrey. Oh yeah, he's going to be Christian McCaffrey. Okay, cool. Well, he was Christian McCaffrey from 2 years ago. Wasn't that when he didn't play the entire season? He didn't get it, but then again,
But then again, Christian McCaffrey's first season wasn't all that great either.
but this is his 4th season.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I mean, I I'm
Oh, he's
trying to
definitely not
find
Christian
his
McCaffrey at
name.
all. There's
Like
no doubt.
I've got him at 38. I've got him right with like Jamal Williams,
Oh, so
Roshan.
you've got no faith.
Yeah, I have Brian Robinson at 26, and that's probably too
Right.
high.
Yeah,
Like there's some guys here running back is so hard as I'm sitting there ranking them because there's some guys that are older. You know, running back's
absolutely.
tough. It's a attrition.
Yep. All right, moving to the Giants. The newest addition to the Giants, Darren Waller. Where Darren Waller's been a top tight end for several years now. Kind of fell off, bounced back a smidge last year. Is Darren Waller still top tier tight end in the Giants offense?
I have him a tight end too, personally, and I
Oh,
love Darren Waller.
wow.
You know me on Darren Waller. But
Wow.
tight ends, I mean, above him, we're looking at Evan Ingram. I don't know what I'm thinking, but Dalton Kincaid, who I could be wrong, Chig, Cole Kmet, who I think takes a step, Njoku with a healthy, but the tight ends, I mean, he's gonna be in that muck. But what we're forgetting about, what about Daniel Bellinger?
Yeah.
I was excited for the signing, but Daniel Bellinger is a good young tight end. Like I think Waller's a much better tight end, but
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Bellinger could still take away some of the catches from from Waller there. So I mean, with the tight end landscape, could he be a tight end 1? Yeah, that's a matter of what a touchdown and 20 yards that takes him from a tight end 1 to a tight end 2. And I was hearing some interesting
Oh,
things.
you said a tight end two. I thought you said tight end two.
No. He's tight end 12, 13 for me.
Oh, okay. That makes a little more sense.
So sorry, I meant a tight end 2. Sorry about that.
I thought you said he was the tight end too. All
Oh, he's
right.
14. I'm sorry, he's 14 for me.
All right. Yeah, that's what I kind of want to see him. If Daniel Jones takes a step forward in the passing game, Waller is going to be a big part of the offense. Him and Saquon. All right, moving to the NFC West. First team, one of my favorites, the 49ers. I'm gonna go Brandon Ayuk here. I'm a huge fan of Brandon Ayuk. I think he's the best wide receiver on the team. Is there a chance? What's the chances that he finishes above Debo as far as wide receivers go?
Oh, I think 100%.
So you
I,
think he's definitely better than Debo?
I think my rankings don't show that, but I don't like Ayuk. I don't know why I don't like Ayuk. I don't trust Ayuk. I think it's one of those things where you get stung. Debo, but I still think based upon last year, I've got to say Ayuk's gonna go higher. He's younger, but I
And
don't.
of course, I mean, it's not a high-powered offense here. It's
It's
hard.
better
It's going to
than
be
every
hard for
offense.
yeah. So it's going to be hard for IU to bust into that top 12. But at the end of the day, I think he's a top 15 tight end. For Brandon Ayuk at this stage, I mean, in this kind of offense, I think top 15 is going to be is pretty good.
Yeah,
So
I don't even have him. I got him in the 20s.
that's a shame. You should really like those guys.
Yeah, and now
I'm
I
gonna
got
have, I'm
Ayuk
gonna
at
have to, I'm
24,
gonna have
and
to buy me a Brandon Ayuk jersey here and support him a little more. All right,
go.
moving to the Seattle Seahawks. One of my favorite guys on the team is DK Metcalf. I don't. He's never really taken that next step that we've kind of thought since his rookie year where he came in big. I'm not sure if I see DK Metcalf as a wide receiver one anymore. I think I see him as maybe round like 15. Where
Ha!
is that? Is that where you got him? Is that where it is?
Dynasty 15, exactly. Dynasty 15 is where I have him right now. Like right around like the old guys. It's like Cup and Adams, and then the guys with potential like Drake London. I probably should have hired, but wide receiver is so good. I
Yeah.
mean, Chris Olave, who we think is going to be a really good receiver, he's number 12 on the
Yeah,
list.
let's slow your roll, dude. We're only talking about DK
But
Metcalf here.
he's in that middle ground there. Like I don't think DK's. uh, Do I think Drake London could be a better receiver than DK?
Let's
Yes.
slow down, dude. Slow down.
Opportunity cost.
Slow down. We're only talking about DK Metcalf here. You're taking
So
away all my
yes,
questions.
yes.
All right. Yeah. I think more he just doesn't get the amount of touchdowns. He doesn't get those double-digit touchdowns that I thought he would be more a part of. But like I said, he's still a solid wide receiver. He can get you boom games from week to week. Moving over to the Cardinals, this is probably one of the toughest teams for me to get a player on. I mean, they're all dreadful. The receivers are not good, and they got Hopkins. They still got Hopkins, right? He hasn't been traded
It's
that
been
I've
traded
missed, right?
as
Uh,
of 521 at
yeah.
440.
All right, so I'm gonna go James Conner here. Where do you have James Conner? I know it's dynasty, but I'm more along as this for just this year. I know you haven't really looked into it, but how high can James Conner go this year if when he stays healthy?
Oh my gosh, do I even have James Conner on my list? Did I? I have him way down on Dynasty, but James Conner, I mean, golly, he's the only running back on the team. He's going to get all the touches. Is James Conner a value RB2, not number two, running back two, so maybe about 18 or so? So, because once again, running backs, after last year, I don't trust where anything's going to land, but he could easily be a running back two that you can get for a running back four cost because he's on the Cardinals. They're dreadful. Kyler presumably won't be back till October and November because of the late ACL. But there's no one else there. There's no other running. Keontae Ingram, everybody's dropped. I've seen him drop on a couple waiver wires as dynasty rosters
Yeah,
are
I
being. He
dropped
dropped him.
him.
Um,
Yeah.
I almost was going to pick him up, but I mean, realistically, that's it. So yeah, he's going to be a RB2 bargain.
Yeah, it's crazy that he's still effective. But kudos to him. I mean, he's had a great NFL career. I never seen this coming.
That being
Moving
said, I'm
over.
moving him above Antonio Gibson.
Oh, come on, man. This is terrible.
One.
All right, moving over to the LA Rams. I'm not really sure what to expect here. So I got Cam Akers and Cooper Cup. The offense is going to be crazy. Stafford healthy, who knows? Akers healthy, probably. Cup coming off the injury healthy, probably. Is Akers and Cup going to disappoint? Or is Cup going to just be the same guy and Akers going to be the same guy and neither one of them are any different? Akers is already disappointed, but Cup has been, a solid contributor.
I think
Well, more
Akers.
than solid.
I've got Akers like right outside of man. well, clogged up today, right outside of RB1. And
Ooh,
we are Akers lovers. We're Akers supporters.
I like Akers.
I like Akers. I've got him on two teams, and I'm rocking with him. People are trying to get him nickel and dime for him. People still think he's the old Akers, but I can tell you what, Akers that last month and a half of the year. I'm
Yep.
gonna hope either I trade him for what he did the month and a half of last year, or I'm gonna hope that rolls in because you're gonna go back into a year where you've got Matt Stafford, who everybody's down on, a year and a half to get himself in order to play football. Matt Stafford's a great player. You got the genius of the coach, and they still have a decent offense. They're dwindling. They're not the old Rams that was stellar, but I think Akers has a great year. I mean, nothing has really changed on the Rams. They got rid of Allen Robinson. I mean, I'm for Akers. I'm for Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is still. I mean, Cooper Kupp. If you can trade for him, if you're a win now dynasty team, grab some Cooper Kupp. I mean, both of them. They are legitimately both of them are 13 on my dynasty rankings in their respective groups. Cooper Kupp's
Yeah.
still a stud. Like he's only 13 because he's older. This year, he'll probably be higher on my redraft rankings.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like Akers, but they don't want to admit it, so they're trying to get him on the cheap. So
Mhm.
I mean, it's okay to say you like Akers. I mean, it's fine. I mean, but the people that got Akers probably at this point are probably going to hold on to him because people are trying to nickel and dime him. So yeah, just hold on to him, see what happens. I mean, they're going to run the ball a lot. All right, two divisions down, two more to go. I probably have to go a little faster. I don't know what the time is. All right,
Got
so
it.
we're going to go NFC South. I got the Atlanta Falcons. I got Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, or all these top tens in your rankings.
Top 10. No, I want Drake London to be. He's the only one that would be outside of top 10. Drake London's in the teens, I believe. I'm jumping around here. Drake London's, I got him with DK Metcalf, right about that area. Bijan, yeah. I mean, Bijan is generational talent. I struggle to put him really high. I've got him at 3 for Dynasty right now. I, it's easy to put him at 1, but he's
So,
never played an ounce of football.
are you worried that Bijan gets the Jonathan Taylor treatment in his first year?
He should, but he won't. I'm worried that he gets hurt. Like I think if they were smart, they would they would give them a 70-30-60. That's what NFL is. We don't want him to do that. I've got Bijan. I don't want him to do that, but that's what the NFL should do. I don't think they're going to. Bijan's been told, everybody's been told, unless it's major smoke screens, they should give Algier. I mean, he showed as that he could run that rookie contract of Algier in, keep Bijan fresh-ish, give him the tote, but they would be smart. But I don't know. I mean, Kyle Pitts, yes, he's a top 10 tight end. I mean, who else is going to be a top 10 tight end? That's sort of the mess of that all. Like tight ends from
I
basically
mean,
6 through 20, it's the
once
same thing.
once Kyle Pitts starts scoring touchdowns, I mean, all will be forgiven because the catches are there, the yards are there. It's just the touchdowns are not there yet, and
He's the
hopefully,
opposite
when
of Cam Akers.
yeah,
You
yeah,
can't get him
the
on the
same
cheap.
thing, the same for London. Once the touchdowns get there, these guys are going to just shoot up guys' rankings. Moving over to the Saints, I got Chris Olave here. Do you see Chris Olave taking the next step into wide receiver one territories, or is he more of a career wide receiver two? Good, but not great.
I think he's great. He's number 12 on my list. It makes him a wide receiver 1 because most teams are 12-team leagues. So I think I mean, you're looking, the guys ahead of him are just studs. So like basically you got the Bengals receivers, the Dolphins receivers, the Eagles receivers, and Jefferson, and a couple
So,
guys in there.
so is Olave like in the McLaurin territory where he just can't get it? He's good, but he just is not
He won't be 1.
great.
He'll be 9, 10, 11. But I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, I would take 3 guys from the 9, 10, 11 over like a
Oh,
1 and a 37. You
oh,
know,
yeah, 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 yeah.
that's I would trade away to get to that little middle ground versus being top and low.
Yep, absolutely. Moving over to the Panthers, another team that is absolutely dreadful. Not a whole lot here to talk about. I guess we'll go with the
Sanders.
rookie. Oh yeah, Miles Sanders. I mean, yeah, we can talk about Miles Sanders. I've got no issues here. I'm not a huge fan of Miles Sanders. He's never been able to really get over the hump. What are you still high on Miles Sanders?
This year I might be higher. I think
Oh my goodness.
volume is going to be there. I mean, he's not going to be the best running back in the league, but just due to volume, Miles Sanders is going to tear the ball. I mean, he's not super high. Gosh, I don't even see him here. I think I got him at 20. I got him at he's low end RB2. I got him at 24. And I could put him higher, but he's going to get the volume. They're a rookie quarterback who's 2 foot tall, can't see over the line, is going to hand off the ball. Miles, I mean, he's going to touch the ball enough times that just by default, he's going to qualify as a solid starter. Like, is he going to be Bijan, Brees, or Jonathan Taylor? No. But he's going to be a guy that you could probably get super cheap and could hold down the fort for you. You were asking about Mingo? Is that who you're going to ask about?
No, I was going to ask. I was going to ask about Bryce Young, but I don't see really
I don't
Bryce
know.
Young really.
The
Yeah,
rookie
yeah,
quarterbacks this year, I wouldn't want to have in redraft in dynasty. Bryce Young, I'd be curious,
yeah.
but I don't have any. I won't have any shares, so it's you pick your poison because it's as we said before, it's a crapshoot.
All right, absolutely. Moving over to the Bucks. No Tom Brady. So I'm going to move to the receivers. Chris Godwin has always been great. Evans has always been great. But is this the year Evans doesn't get 1,000 yards receiving?
Do I have to plant my flag?
No, you don't have to play. You don't have to
I'll
plant your flag,
but
but I
I've always
mean,
been lower on Evans because and I've always been wrong. So I'm a Godwin guy. I think so. I mean, Baker can't throw to two receivers. I think Rashad
Baker
White,
can't throw to one receiver.
he usually can hit one every now and then. And he hit one if the one runs 5 yards, which is what Godwin will have to do. So I just don't see Evans getting the long passes that he was getting recently that he would get. So I could see him going for 800. I could still see him getting 12 touchdowns because they'll get down to the yard line, just throw it up to the tall guy. I mean, Baker can do that.
Oh yeah,
And,
we'll
it's
see.
K. Dotton or Baker down low, right?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Evans to maintain that streak, but it's been a great career. Moving over to the NFC North, we're going to the Bears here. I got Justin Fields. Is Justin Fields the late Justin Fields from last year or the early Justin Fields from last year?
I don't know. He's scary. Like, if you look at it, it's not. He became good because he ran, and is that if I traded away my only Justin Fields, that's not what I want to bank on. I mean, we've done it with Lamar, so he's got to take that Lamar step, and I don't know what that would be. I mean, he only threw for 2,242 yards, but he
Yeah,
ran for
and it was,
bajillion yards. He ran for 1,143 yards.
and I would say probably what 70% of those yards came in the last 8 games, last 9 games, something like
A
that.
third of it came against the Dolphins, right? They
Yes,
threw
I
that
mean
200 yards.
those that first half of the season was so bad. So I mean, if he's able to pass a little better, for the whole season, maybe get to that 3,000 yard marker, 1,000 yards rushing. Maybe his interception to touchdown ratio, gets a little better. But I mean, I'm a huge fan. I mean, I'm hoping for a lot here. I mean, I'm riding a couple leagues with Justin Fields. I'm just
I
hoping
mean,
for
I've
the
got him right
best.
after Herbert, and Herbert's
Yeah.
another guy that scares me. But I got him like Herbert, Tua, Dak, Deshaun Watson, Kyler, all like in a bunch there. They'd probably be a tier.
All right, moving over to the Packers. I got Jordan Love. Is Jordan Love going to be a fantasy asset as a QB two?
If I could get him, I'll be honest, I would try to, because he's gonna be cheap. He's either gonna be cheap or some numbskull's gonna ask for a first.
That's what I'm saying. Is he going to be cheap? I mean, people have been holding on to him for this long. They're not going to give him away for cheap now that he's a starter,
Okay, he
right?
should be cheap, but yeah, Jordan Love. My gosh, where do I have him? I don't even. I've got him at quarterback 25. I got him behind like Brock Purdy, Sam Howell, even behind like Derek Carr. Um, I, I don't know. They want him to be, but the luck of the Packers has to break soon, doesn't it? You can't go from Brett Favre to Aaron
I'll
Rodgers
find
to
out.
Jordan Love. We're gonna find out quick. I mean, I'm rooting for the kid because I think he deserves it after Aaron Rodgers was such a turd to him.
Now,
I'm rooting for
if you
him.
look into it, maybe the Packers are doing something right, right?
Hopefully.
The Packers have never necessarily drafted a quarterback and started him immediately and made him suffer through the years of being a bad quarterback and people giving up on him. Brett Favre was given up on somewhere else. He was brought in, later, like was it 2 or 3 years into his career, came to the Packers and then was able to start fresh.
Yep.
Of course, Aaron Rodgers didn't start to what, year four? Another, he wasn't forced to come in, start early, go through the troubles of being, that rookie quarterback with all the pressure. He was able to just play football. And maybe with Jordan Love, it could be the same thing. Maybe the Packers are on to something here.
Would you trade away Geno Smith for Jordan Love?
Absolutely.
Daniel Jones for Jordan Love?
Oh, that's a tough one. Probably not. I'd keep Daniel
Okay, so
Jones.
that's right. But like, I got Daniel Jones at like he's my 14th quarterback. Like, I'm higher on him than most people, probably.
Because I think Daniel Jones, I don't know if he can repeat what he did last year, but I think Daniel Jones is around the top 12 quarterback.
Okay.
I guess, oh, yeah, two more. My bad. We got the Vikings. I'm going to go TJ Hawkinson here. Of course, he was traded midseason from the Lions. I've never been a huge fan of Hawkinson. What do you say here?
I am going with what he did the last part of the year, and I probably should lower him with the addition of Addison. But I mean, he was lights out towards the end of the year. It wasn't as pretty as we're remembering it from a lot of the stuff, but if you guys see if I can pull it up real quick, but he was he killed it. Like he clobbered us, but he did have that 4 touchdown game. And what was it? Four, two touchdown game for 109 yards, which just murdered me. So it wasn't as amazing as we think it was. He just had the targets and the targets from let's see, when did he get? Where did he get traded? But we're looking. Let's just go week 13. 6, 8, 9, 16, and 12, and then one on the last week when apparently didn't play long. But if you're getting target shares of 6+ as a tight end, that only bodes well in an offense where you're not going to be double teamed because they're going to put like 4 guys on Jefferson. Then you're going to have you, and then Addison will probably take some off. So, I mean, I think he's going to have a decent year. And I mean, in tight end landscape, once again, I got him in the Goddard, Fryermuth, Pitts, Kittle bubble.
Yeah, I can see. I've just never been a huge fan. I mean, maybe I gotta dive a little deeper in here. Maybe I can like him a little more. All right, going with the Lions here. I got two more guys,
That's my other team.
2021 here. I'm going to go. All right, I'm going to go Jameer Gibbs first. Is Jameer Gibbs a RB1? Do you have him as an RB1?
I think I have him as a 2. Let's
Two.
see.
Based
No,
on catches
RB1.
alone.
I have him. I'm on the hype train.
Wow. All
It's
right.
fancy. Well, phrase it. It's as long if you're in standard league, no, he's like an RB low RB2 because it's going to be based upon receptions. Jameer Gibbs will tote the ball what a buck, 125 times, but he could easily get 70, 80 receptions. Let's go bold. Like he could be my bold prediction guy. I mean, that offense is going to move. He could play slot for the first what? Is it 6 weeks? How many weeks is Williams out?
I don't know. 4, 6. I'm not really sure. I don't know.
But he could play. He could play slot some of those weeks. Take some of Jameson Williams's some of his catches. Once I figured out how long he's suspended for. So that's
All
like
right, so you got him as a RB1. That's higher than I was expecting. So we got two rookies as RB1s, a couple falling out there. It's going to be interesting. It seems like this happens every year. All right, we'll go with your guy last here, Jared Goff. Is he a repeat performer of last year?
uh, I think so.
All right,
I love Jared Goff.
I know you do.
The problem is we're talking dynasty, so I have him buried on dynasty because I think he's got 1, 2 years maybe. So, I mean, I have him as a quarterback too in dynasty, but I mean, he did nothing but perform last year, right?
I guess
First
I
year,
was wrong.
you know
I
what I
was
mean?
wrong with Jared Goff last year. I admit it. Not a huge fan, but I mean, he
Dan
opened my
Campbell
eyes a little
rallied the
bit.
troops. Dan Campbell rallied the troops.
He opened my eyes. So I mean, I'm still like I know I say everybody's like a top 15 quarterback. I mean, to me, everybody's like a top 15. But like I say, I think Jared Goff is continues to stay in that area. I don't see him as like a top 10. I think he's more of a top 15. I mean, I give him that's way better than where I had him before the season. He was like my QB like 92.
He
So
plays like he did last year, this year. The Lions wasted a pick on Hooker and they lock him up. Like, I think you,
I mean,
really,
maybe.
I mean, he does that. You do 1 year, you know, fool me
Yeah.
once.
Well, I
Two
mean, if he
years,
takes the, I mean, if he takes the Lions to a playoff, wins a game, I think he deserves to be brought back as your quarterback. But anything less than that, I guess you got to make the playoffs.
yeah, and they were 1 game out.
Well,
So,
I mean, it's possible. I mean, there's not a all the quarterbacks are gone from the NFC. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, he's probably the top 3 in the NFC because there's no one
yeah,
left.
I mean that's fair. All right. So yeah, I think I got through all 21 on that one. Hopefully my addition was right. Hopefully I can count
I didn't
21.
do any math there, so I don't know. But yeah, so we got through all of them. It's gonna be an interesting year as we go in, and I'm looking forward to the next couple months of us trying to figure out what we think's going to happen because I think we could go back and look at what we thought last year, and boy, were we wrong. Boy, were we
Uh,
right.
yeah,
It's
I mean,
Jared Goff, baby. He's the horse I rode last year.
I'm usually wrong more than I am right, so there's not a whole
Oh,
lot for me to brag on here.
my bold predictions were terrible. I do recall that as we.
Well, one of my bold predictions was almost correct. The Tom Brady passing for,
Yeah, I remember.
um, I mean, he did. I mean, he set the record for pass attempts last year. I mean, the record was his. So it was just those first few games. He was only throwing the ball 22 times, and it just started off so bad. But I mean, I was in the right mode on that one. I just didn't get all the way there.
NFC question for you, and then you wrap us up. Bijan, is he the number one dynasty running back right now?
I would guess he is, just for the hype. I mean, that's how this goes. I mean, every year a running back comes in, they're RB1. Jonathan Taylor, RB1. Brees Hall, RB1.
Taylor was a little
Bijan,
bit behind them.
what's that?
He felt that year he wasn't the high. That remember that was a CEH year.
Well, I mean, but Taylor coming into the year, I mean, we just because CEH was drafted that high, nobody thought he was better than Taylor. Coming into that, Taylor was still seen as dynasty RB1, for the future. And Brees Hall was the same way. I mean, they come in with that, and it's just crazy. So yeah, I mean, right now
I
the
got
hype is
Brees higher
real.
than Bijan right now.
I don't know if I could have Brees higher than Bijan coming off the injury like that.
I mean, but it's dynasty ranking. So this year, I probably would have both of them below McCaffrey. So like redraft McCaffrey probably would be my number one.
Oh yeah, McCaffrey's probably your number one. In that offense, I think he solidified that last year. I mean,
I mean, how many more
that's
years of he's 26? I don't see his birthday right here. So we'll say he's 26. He could have a birthday. He's gonna have a birthday this year at some point.
yeah.
How many more years does he have as a running back one?
I mean, as long as he stays with the 49ers, I mean, I could see this going on for another 2 or 3 years. I mean, until he's like 29. I mean, Derrick Henry's what, 30? Still putting up numbers. So, I mean, I don't want to say Chris McCaffrey's like there, but I mean, I feel like he's pretty safe at this point.
Huh? Well, during this podcast, I did go through and update some of my rankings. Man, I realized I had a couple that I hadn't paid attention to Mims from the Broncos. Like, how did he get so messed up? So feel free to check out my rankings for the dynasty rankings. Yell at me. One guy called me out. So it's not. I'm not a professional at this. I teach the rest of the week, and I look at this throughout the week in times or during the podcast while we're doing it. So check them out. They're. You can look me up as a Fantasy Pros expert on there to see how they rank, or you can go
Our
to
very own expert.
Fantasy Pros expert. Yep. Or just go to the fantasycareers.wixsite.com/website. You won't remember that. It's on the it's on the Facebook links there, but it's got my rankings are in there, and the dynasty ones are in this big blue section, and the rookie rankings are in a yellow section. I'll get rid of those in probably the next month or so.
All right, that's cool. All right, so moving on, guys. So I've seen something interesting. Hopefully, I'm right on this. I'm not wrong, but I've seen a stat on your boy Stetson Bennett. That is your boy, right?
I got
You're a
him.
big.
You saw me
I
get
know
it.
that's what I say. It's your boy Stetson Bennett. So I seen something pretty impressive with him. I'm not a big Stetson Bennett fan, but evidently he went to college for 6 years and didn't
Didn't
graduate,
get graduate.
and then got drafted into the NFL. So I'm not really sure this is the kind of quarterback I want on my team, right? I don't know if I want that quarterback that went to college. I obviously just used it as a place to party and not graduate.
How
I
many of
don't.
these
I
guys
don't
have
know.
baloney degrees though too? I mean, how many guys have degrees in like
Hey,
on
but at
color
least they
basketball?
have degrees,
Well,
and
he
it
just
was
didn't waste the
done,
time getting a
and it
basketball
was
degree.
done in
He took it for what
under
it was.
6 years. I mean, if you're going to go to college for 6 years, get something out of it, my man. Well, I
What's
guess
it?
he got the NFL out of it, but he's not going to be in the NFL very long because he can't finish anything.
McVay.
So
McVay's a genius. He's going to be a. I
yeah,
love
we'll see. So I just thought that was funny. As always, trust yourself and trust the process.